I can see it in the past, like I feel it in my mind. I hear it in the roots and the song press rewind. Take me to the truth like the very first time. I fell in love with music, music, feel alive. It's in the beat that my heart still plays. I smell it in the weed at the dawn of the day. I was 14, but the vibe still stays. I'm still in love with music, music, yeah.
This is how we start a recovery room meeting. The first part of the meeting is kind of coming in, getting with the vibe and the energy, settling the spirit. We still have a minute before the meeting officially starts, so
All of us catch hell from the same enemy. We're all in the same bag, in the same boat. We suffer political oppression, economic exploitation, and social degradation. All of them from the same enemy. The government has failed us. You can't deny that. Anytime you live in the 20th century, 1964, and you're walking around here singing, "We shall overcome," the government has failed. And the white liberals, who have been posing as our friends, have failed us. And once we see that all these other sources to which we turn have failed, we stop turning to them and turn to ourselves. We need a self-help program.
And there you have it. And there you have it. And there you have it. And here we have it for you. That revolutionary 12-step self-help program that has been uniquely designed. Get the video and all this stuff right. You know, we got that rebellious lock going on. The energy is tuned in to universal spirits, universal energy. So I learned we always have at least one rebellious lock. Rebellious in the sense that it won't lay down with the rest of them. It just kind of stands back up because it's tuned in. So I say to you, greetings, Hotep, Aguaba, and bless up, and welcome Black to the recovery zone of racism non-anonymous, that revolutionary 12-step self-help program, again, that has been uniquely designed with you and me, the African, first and foremost, in mind, designed to support our healing and recovering from this shit, traumatic stress of the human intentional type, or AKA the Ma'afa, which is the great suffering of our people in the West. I believe is the rough translation of Ma'afa. I am true to the cause of African liberation via unification and utilizing the tool of healthy and effective communications. I am a traumatized traumatologist, trauma queen and queen of trauma. And that is trauma and traumatic stress, understanding it, what it is, how it has, and continues to work. And guess what? The drama is the trauma. The trauma is the drama, because I'm about to come with some drama tonight. As I have been what can I'm not even you know, the anger is triggered, and I'm working really hard to keep it contained, which is a little different in terms of what I learned growing up from a black woman. I saw what happened when black women allow their anger to pop. And what happens, what comes out of their mouth, if you will, right? Because we understand the tongue as a sword that will cut you. Why? Because word sound has power. And as it's sort of been talked about and described, women use their tongue as a sword. Women will cut you down in a heartbeat. They can say some shit that you kind of like feel like a really little child and all kinds of shit, you know. When a person uses their words to come at you, to hurt you. Communication. It's all about communication, right? And tonight's meeting for me, because I did at this point need a meeting in the recovery room, because some shit has been happening, and it's like, you know what, I'm so sick of this shit. Black women shit. Black women, I have to really work to breathe and not allow that quote unquote beast out in that way. Now, you know, there's been part of, you know, me, I've been aware of myself because I'm always practicing what I preach and teach, which is why I'm so good at what I do and I help others, right? Um, and as I am in a process of really reclaiming my voice and speaking my truth, and fuck it, I'm 64 now, so I can say what the fuck I want to say, and if you want to come at me and kill me, I see it as a fucking rescue mission, all right? It's kind of like, you know, I don't care kind of like anymore what people think, because people will think what people think based on, you know, the shit they have been exposed to in their lives. They can only think based on what they know. And of course, they do not know everything. Nobody does. I've never presented myself or purported that I quote unquote knew everything. However, because my eldest sister, a black woman, determined that her belief that I thought I knew it all. And because she thought that shit, she began to spread that shit amongst the family. She thinks she knows it all. She is this, she is that. All this is your shit. It got nothing to do with me. However, you know, it's kind of like that's how the world seems to work that we live in. People will listen to what other people say about a person, and based on that, they make their decision and their determination based on what that person says, simply because they said it, so to speak. Communication, all about communication. You communicated, you went out and you communicated that shit to somebody, your shit. And so I am a child of the 60s. I am a child from the MLK era, even MLK. So I don't know how they just kind of flew out right there, because I do want to talk about MLK, because I've been, yeah, as I've been working to process and step back and look at and understand what the fuck is wrong with women. So recently, this was triggered tonight's meeting. I've been working with business coaches, business coaching. That's the newest thing on the landscape here. Coaching, business coaching. Like all these business people who then been to school at they have created these programs and education where folks get a PhD in organizational psychology, how to organize your mind around their shit. Like learning the whole business world and shit. Because I come from the social service arena. I come from the helping arena, medical, it's all about helping. Business arena is very different. Business arena is about getting your money and how to get your money and how to fuck with people's head in order to get their money. It's like, oh, I see. And, I learned early on, even in my profession and in my studies and research and shit, the shit I've studied and researched over time, I know the power of melanin. I know the power of blackness, right? And Dr. Thurman Evans kind of put it at a conference way back when in the early 90s that I was at, where he kind of pointed out how it's like anything white people do, once we get our hands on it, we're going to up the scale. We just gonna go above, over and above shit, because of the melanin and the energy that brings to us. So for many Black women who are business entrepreneurs, they on top of their game and shit. They out there killing it. They making money, and they gonna teach us how to make money like they making money, and that's the business in part. Now, while for myself, I recognized a need to learn some business shit because I'm new as a business entrepreneur. Now I'm going to work to establish my own business and work for myself as opposed to working for the system, which had its shit in. Woo, let me tell you about the Black women shit up in the mental health field, up in the mental health arena in the last 30 years. And then I hear stories from folks I work with, quote unquote, clients. And when I listen to stories of the generation under me, the generation or two under me, in terms of the experiences they have had growing up with their mothers. And in particular, I'm talking about Black mothers right now. It has been, for me, truly mind fucking boggling, mind blowing, and so disruptive to the spirit. Like, oh my goodness, what the fuck is happening to us? Did mama did what? She said, wow. So it really just, for me, it opened up the window to the impact of the system of racism, white supremacy, and how it's played out in the lives of Black women, it's played out in the lives of Black men, mothers, friends. It just plays itself out because that's the shit that has been dumped in our psyche. European thought and behavior. Now, European thought and behavior, when you look at it from a perspective of the system of racism, right, they think that Black people, quote unquote, have no value, and that Black people are unintelligent, and that they think that Black people as a result of those two primary thoughts, therefore, these are the ways I can treat them because they are lower class. And so for Black women who have quote unquote made it in the business world and they're up on a higher level than the people they are reaching out to teach and to get your fucking money, once they get it, they can treat you any fucking way because they really do not see you having any value because you're a Black person. And even though they to themselves are a person of African descent or a Black person and or a person of color, then we get into the next level of the system as it relates to, hierarchy in terms of economics. So on the economic scale, for example, folks like Oprah Winfrey and company, because they are in that economic level, they think and behave accordingly. And the way upper class white folk think and behave is the very same way that Black folk who move into that arena begin to think and behave. So Black business women, on that scale, on that level, the way you treat folks, quote unquote, under you, who you are supposedly, purportedly helping to get where you are. However, the tactics that you are using are the same tactics that white folk have used, and every damn thing white folks have done for Black folks is done to fuck us up. And here we go, because here I am working with this one Black group, female head led, paying my money, putting my trust and my heart into this shit, and you fucking me over with your bullshit. What kind of fucking bullshit? Ooh, I'm really upset. I'm really hurt. I'm just like, and yes, I have to practice my own principles and control myself, i.e., my breath, breathe, to calm my spirit, step back, and see the shit for what it is. See the shit that other people refuse to see, will not look at, will deny, even though it's right there in your face. That's white people. They deny this shit, even though a lie right there, Trump lying in your face. He ain't really say, well, that's what he mean. Well, I think he mean this. He mean what the fuck he said. people, we will take what other people say and we will flip it and dress it up and turn it around. We will do anything except for accept it for what the fuck it is. And Black women, you Black coaches out there, because I had a couple of them. I spent a whole lot of fucking money in the last year and a half working with folks whose knowledge and skill are clearly undeniable. That part I have no issue with, right? You got your shit, y'all got yours. I'm all for it. I'm all for it, and I'm all for supporting you. I'm all for supporting you. I'm all for pouring my heart, my money, my trust into you. And then what I get back instead is a bunch of fucking bullshit. However, in business, when you done fucking spent your money, they got your money. What the hell are you gonna do? What you gonna do? You got my fucking money now, and you can tell me, oh well, that's just it. And this shit is wrong. You're fucking wrong. You have to know it. And if you don't, something wrong with your fucking ass. Yeah, Collie Buzz. That's what I was listening to earlier. I won't put it on now because I don't want YouTube to tell me my video is not acceptable because the music in the background, blah, blah, blah. However, Collie Buzz got a thing that say, and if you think something, if you don't see something wrong with this world, then something must be wrong with you. And if you think there's something wrong with this world, what the fuck you supposed to do? Because I think something wrong and I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. Because you already got my money. You got my money. And I'm left with what the fuck you gave me, even though it's not what I asked the fuck for. And I understand you understand that. See, that's the other piece. Because I've been working with this particular group for like over 6 months. So you already know what my brand colors are. Why are you sending me this shit? This ain't my colors and you know it. And you won't talk to me. And let's like have a fucking conversation. No, we don't do that. You can make a video on Loom. You know I'm gonna make no goddamn Loom video. I told you I'm fucking 64 years old. I'm still trying to figure out this technology, but you want to play with me like that. That's how young folks see younger folks think and behave. That's what I'm in part. I'm like, and I understand it's not really just the quote unquote younger generation, because I truly recognize and suspect that my generation, the children of the baby boomers, we were the group who were really targeted with the MLK Ultra shit. And I know in my generation, from the 60s to the 80s, there were memes and messages being put out there for us to compete. It was all about competition. So we were constantly competing with each other. What that led to was a breakdown in family dynamics, because now family members were competing with each other as opposed to building with and supporting each other's gifts, talents, and learning how to integrate those and build. That we lost in the 60s and 70s. And instead, the children of the 50s and early 60s, probably even, there was something being done that really fed that message of competition. Because as a child born in 1960, the stories that I read, the things as I looked at and heard of our life as a people, supported me with believing. Malcolm X was in my head. I grew up with Malcolm X stories. And it was about working together. In the 80s, Dr. Thurman Evans talked about how he was able to support his family with developing a multi-million-dollar corporation just based on the gifts within the damn family. I suggested these things to my family. However, I was kicked out. I was outcast. I was the outcast. Primarily my oldest sister, the elder, who was the matriarch of our generation at that time. She was totally sort of against me. She had children, I had an education, and that we were kind of set apart. Her position was, I didn't know anything about children and child development because I didn't have any kids. All I had was quote unquote book knowledge, which had very little value in the Black community in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. So even though I grew up learning in the 60s and 70s that it was important to go to school, don't be a fool, go to school, educate to elevate. So I went into the education. That's where my head was. I think that she was unhappy with herself because she wasn't able to appreciate fully what she did have and what she did bring in terms of a business mind and an entrepreneurial spirit, and very creative, very artistic. She was an artist. She was creative. That was her spiritual gift. My spiritual gift was intellect. And we could have formed a very powerful partnership with those. However, she didn't seem to see that. And as a result, it became a competition. As a result, I just kind of shut my mouth. I was the middle child. She was the oldest. I grew up in a generation where there was a level of respect for elders, and that's how I learned to pay attention to people who were older than me. Shut up. Shut up. Just shut up. They got the power. So I shut up. And I stayed shut up for many, many years. As a middle child, I always shut up. The other thing that caused me to shut up was watching my Black mother when she was pissed off, and my mom drank alcoholically many years of my childhood life. So I saw what it was like when Black women was angry, and I didn't want that for me. So I was always very, I suppose, conscientious about calming myself and staying quiet and watching and observing. Because I saw Black women fight each other. I saw my mom and her sisters fight each other in the drunken rage at the end of the night and all of the chaos that came from that. So I tend to pull back when confronted with aggression. And these Black business women have been aggressive in a sense. For me, the first coach I stopped working with a few months ago. It just got to the point where it's like, you know what, I've had enough. You really don't see yourself. You clearly don't see yourself. You clearly have no respect for me as a person, as a woman, as an elder, as an intellect. You don't think that I have any fucking sense or something. And or what I understand more than anything, what happens for people when they interact with me is, they're just confronted with a very powerful spiritual energy. It's me, Mama Earth. I am a very deep seer. I am highly empathic. And I suppose it's what they call, quote unquote, reading people, even though if that's what people call it, I guess that's what it is. I'm very good at reading people. And when I, quote unquote, read people, for me, it's really my spirit being able to connect with their spirit, whoever I am in commune with, conversation with, connected to. And my spirit will pick up on what's happening in another person's spirit. I can feel what's happening. These things, I am coming into more of an awareness about myself since I have been alone and with myself, me, myself, and I have no other folks in my life. My husband has made this transition. My parents are gone. My sisters are gone, even though those relationships were kind of cut off for a while already. Yet I now am standing on me, myself, and I. And I'm okay with that. I'm learning myself. I'm learning more about myself. And, it's like a whole new chapter, a whole new, more than a chapter. It's like a whole new book in my life. It's a whole new book. I'm in book 3, so to speak. And in book 3 of my life, I'm a single woman, know what I know, doing what I'm doing as a single person with very limited family contacts and connections. My family members are very loosely connected to me at this point. And, it's taken work, and I'm still in that process of sort of coming out of book 2, where in that landscape, I have more other support, family connections, friend connections, whatever. And this is a new book in my life. So I'm learning other parts of myself. I am learning to accept parts of myself that I have historically denied. And that is my voice, my thoughts, my understanding, my questions. Those things for me have been pretty much suppressed, because whenever I ask questions, Black women have been the first ones to work to shut me the fuck down. Why you even think about that? Oh, you so deep. Oh, you need to do this. Or why you think that? Oh, that's not right. No, that's not true. It was always Black women. Black women and your bullshit. You covered up with bullshit and you act like you don't see it. And you need to look at your damn self and check yourself, because it's a bunch of fucking bullshit. You're hurting. People are doing things that are extremely hurtful. I can say right now, and of course, yeah, this is RNA, and that's the thing with racism, non-fucking anonymous. Traditional 12-step programs are anonymous. We don't tell certain things, we don't say. We keep it a secret. And even the way this world's culture in America is set up, it is set up for us to maintain secrets. See, because if I say the name of the group I'm referring to, they can sue me for slander because I told the fucking truth about the ass. Ain't that something? When we tell the truth about shit, you could be sued for slander, because you have to prove it. You have to prove that. That's the thing about the shit, and why it's the shit. And why the shit is an appropriate acronym for traumatic stress of the human intentional type, because you know what the fuck you're doing. You're the human. You know what you're doing. Your intent is to fuck over people, take their money, and get what you can get, and give as little as the fuck as you can get. How come it's been damn near almost a month since I paid for this fucking service for these 30 days, and it's damn near 30 days, damn near over. I still don't have the fucking product. I give a suggestion on the first layout. All right, I'd like to see this change. They take a whole nother fucking week, and for me to send the email, say, hey, what's going on, yo? Oh, here you go. Oh, okay, well, can we talk so I can just kind of tell you exactly? No, we don't do talk, but you can do a Loom. I'm not do no fucking Loom video. You know I don't know how to do a Loom video. You've been working with me for 6 fucking months. You know I'm not to do damn Loom video and all that shit. It's gonna take me another week and a half to figure that out. The whole month is gone, and you got my money. And you got my fucking money. Why? Why? What did I do? Why? Okay, I need to take a deep breath, right? Because this is just a quick meeting, just for me to kind of share this shit. Because I needed to get it off my chest. I've been very patient. I've been, I'm reasonable. And then in the end, this is what you give me. And When you see something wrong with this world, what the hell are you supposed to do? However, yes, black women have issues, major issues in terms of um, living the white supremacist ideology, practicing European culture, the business industry. So anybody who is a business person, a business entrepreneur, and you use the tools that you've been taught, we understand that everything we learn is their way of thinking and behaving. And their way of thinking and behaving, primarily when it comes to your black ass, is black people, this and that. Lower class people means this. So when you move into their industry and you begin to get socialized and educated into thinking that way, you think and you behave, and you will be very successful. And you can see for those business folk who are very successful, and there are many, many, many black women I have been exposed to from, one of the sisters I was working with, and many black women out there killing it shit, killing it. And I'm like, big ups all day, every day with it. And I'm gonna do whatever I could do to support. And that's the thing, I think that's one of the things that's really hurts me so deeply. Really hurts me so deeply because of how I flex and behave. And the way other people flex and behave is almost like damn polar opposite. A couple of years ago, the one sister hosted a conference. I met many black women doing many different things, and I reached out and I supported them. I bought shit from this one, I bought shit from that one, because I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is, and that's with black businesses. Yet at the same time, I'm at a point now where it's like, come on, Marcus, the whirlwind. I'm about to come with a whirlwind. Sometimes I tell myself, I think maybe I should take a drink or two to let the ginger out in me. Who is the ginger? The ginger is that mother energy. That my mama was ginger. And when she drank it, she let you know what the fuck was on her mind. She told you just what the fuck was on her mind, how she wanted you to fucking tell you, and that was it. I could, when it comes to, for me, yeah, I think when it comes to expressing anger, very intense anger, that for me is challenging. I'm very challenged with it. I really work to, okay, let me see how I can say this in a way that is most effective, because of, I believe, of course, if I come out expressing my anger in a way that says you're terrible, you're awful, that's not effective. It's not healthy, and it's not effective. It's not healthy, because it's aggressive, coming with the you. I need to be able to say I, and I would just like to say to that particular group, I am so unhappy, I'm so disappointed, I am so frustrated, and it hurts. I don't understand. I really just don't. It's like, what the fuck did I do to deserve that? Because that's the question we tend to ask ourselves. See, when shit happens like that, and that's kind of like a gaslighting experience. Because whenever it leaves me with a question like, what did I do? What's wrong with me? What did I do? I didn't do shit. I fucking trusted you. That's what I did. I sent you my damn money. I told you what I wanted. That's what I did. And you gave me this bullshit in return. Why? You answer. Black women and their bullshit. My oldest sister and her bullshit. And the shit stains that she left when she transitioned off this plantation. Her shit she left behind that her children are just wallowing in because it's their mama. Well, I understand, So they live in their mama's legacy. And their mama's legacy was to fuck over me. And so there's the disconnect. I could say on the communal level, on the societal level, Black women in the community. I'm from Philly, and I met a lot of the community leaders here in Philly. I've attempted to work with many, and they all got the same fucking shit. Bunch of bullshit. They don't look at themselves. And that's what I see. It's like people um are not willing to look at themselves. Black, white, Asian, Latina, male, female, upper class, lower class. That part crosses all those lines. In general, people have a really difficult time really looking at themselves first. To look at yourself means you close these two eyes, shut off the external fucking world, take a slow, deep breath or two, and allow the third eye to open up. And that third eye looks inside. That third eye looks inside. It sees yourself. It sees the self. It sees your thoughts, your memories, your beliefs. Looking at yourself, remembering it. And then the next step is beginning to tell the truth about the terrible shit you see. And for us as Black folks, when we take that first step with acknowledging that racism, white supremacy is the primary ideological belief system, and that we have all been programmed into that system. We all been programmed to think and behave like white people. And the way white people think and behave towards Black people is hurtful. And if you, as a Black person, are not looking at yourself and looking at the ways that you are hurting other Black people and by default, yourself, you won't see it. And you'll continue to do the bullshit that you're doing. And you may continue to prosper because that system works for white people. Don't forget what's happening to Diddy. It worked for him for 20, 30 years until white people decide they sick of your ass and you got to go. Ask Bill Cosby. Who else? Who else? Tyler Woods, Tiger Woods, any of them. At any given time, your Black ass will be thrown out of the club. See, even in that economic arena, you could be in the economic arena for a bit, but you're still Black. And as long as you're Black, you don't matter ultimately. And they will kick your ass out. And then when they kick Black people out of shit, then the Black people always come back to the poor Black people down here that you done fucked over already. And then you come back for us to embrace you and help you. It's how the world has worked. Oh, maybe you all don't know nothing about that. You are 30 and 40-year-olds who are so fucking arrogant that you cannot listen to us 60-year-olds because somebody told you what's wrong with us 60-year-olds and what's wrong with us baby boomers. So you don't want to listen and hear. And as a result, there's this huge disconnect that happens. And that's what I see happening in the world. It's pretty sad. It's pretty sad because it's just the loss. It's more sadness for me than anything. Fear, it's dangerous. It's danger because you can divide and conquer. And once they have us sufficiently divided, these stupid motherfuckers, they can conquer because that's what they've been working for. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'm just old. Oh, that's in the past. That's in the past, right? Yeah, well, guess what? They make America great again. They taking it back to the past. And, you know, I need to have a place to come and talk about some shit, get this shit off my chest, out of my spirit, so that I can get clearer about what I need for me right now, given what I have received. What do I do with this? And work to make shit. It's almost like, it's like, oh, my mind just went to the images that was presented to me, and it's almost like you're shitting on me with the colors and shit. It's like, here, just give her that bunch of shit looking colors. Those are not my brand colors. The brand colors you gave me when I look, it's like, oh, that's your way of shitting on me, huh? With the browns and the golds in that way. It's a light greens in here and there. So it's almost like, here, give her this polish, give her this. She doesn't matter. You all. I kind of had that sense probably about 2 months into my involvement with that particular group that I was put on the shit list. I was put on the shit list, and marked off as what? No value. I don't know what. It's okay to take my money. It's just an old dumbass woman. Take her money and give her shit. She can do. We already know she ain't got no help. We already know she ain't got no supporters. So what the fuck she gonna do? She gonna take it. Shit she can do. And that's how Black women interact with other Black women, and you think and you behave. And even the younger Black women, they're coming at me with bullshit. Don't be trying to use me. Like, what the fuck? People do shit. It's like, okay. All right, I understand. And I understand because of the information and the knowledge I have about sort of quote unquote how the world works. How the world works when we talk about mind control and we talk about brainwashing, the brainwashing of our people. I watched a documentary called The Brainwashing of My Dad. You see how they brainwash white folks and probably lower middle class white folks, and the brainwashing that was going on for them in the 80s and 90s that has led us to the place where we are now in 2025. Because them folks been brainwashed with Rush Limbaugh and talk radio and the shit that was being pumped in their heads during that period. Brainwashing, just brainwashing. And MK Ultra in the 60s and 50s and 60s, it's, I'm not sure what they did to us, but they did something. I know that they did something, because the shit that I saw coming out of my post generation, like, what the fuck happened? We ain't learned that. What y'all doing? Oh, that's right. They cracked us up. They brainwashed us. It's like the brainwashing was like liquid fucking nitrogen, just sprayed all over the place, and then crack came. And it was liquid nitrogen, and we all locked into this fucking way of thinking and behavior with the TV. We just all locked in, and then they came and they cracked, and then they cracked it all fucked up. Now in our communities, it's just fucked up. Black people fucking over Black people all left and right, and your Black women doing a good goddamn job. And I'm so, ooh, woo, so fucking sick. It's, oh, man, you need a program of recovery. Really, come on. Really think about this shit. You're going into 2025. For me, I just kind of work to make sense for myself of myself, and why the fuck am I on this planet dealing with this shit and seeing all this shit. I don't have no children. I ain't fuck up no children the way y'all fucking up y'all kids like this, teaching them a bunch of bullshit to go along with. At the same time, I can 100% understand why. I understand. I understand 100% the dynamic that's at play. I, I I'm not so certain though that people have to hurt other people in the way that they're doing in order to get. I mean, like, well, if you just look at the industry, the entertainment industry with Diddy and company, and you know, Diddy and company and his class of people. You know, as I understand it, it seems that at that level of elitism, that they really sign contracts with the devil, the evil doers, or whatever, and you know, kind of quote unquote selling your soul. And when people sell their soul, they and their offspring benefit. So many people, I guess, even people who would be considered a quote unquote snitch, they have to save their life, and they're saving not only their life, they're saving the lives of their loved ones. Because the deal becomes, if you don't give us what we want, we'll go fuck them up. People gonna protect their family. So people do what they do. Women go out, prostitute their body to feed their children. So I understand that part of it, you know, that whole dynamic of that level of responsibility for another life that you are deeply and intimately connected with, and you want to provide for them, and you want to assure that they have what, all of the luxuries of life, so to speak. However, and at the same time, for me, when and if that comes at the expense of harming another person, then that for me is a point where there has to be a pause, a slow down, a stop, and a negotiation to see how to lessen, if you will, the harm that may be incurred. You know, so I suppose it's the same thing as the difference of using a gun versus a knife versus a stick or a rope to hit somebody or to hurt somebody with. I can use a belt that's going to cause one impact versus a gun that's going to cause another impact. Either way, the person going to be harmed. The question is how much. And it's been my experience unpleasantly with enough Black women. I've had relationships with Black women that are not like this for sure. However, just like everything in this world, it's more like 80% is fucked up and hurtful, and there's a 20% that's not. Yet that 80%, that's a pretty big number, yo. That 20% is easy to get a more lost when first things first. I have to get rid of this 80% shit. These mofos with they shit. Like, oh, okay. All right. But you know what? Like I was going to say before, and then I'm going to stop this meeting for now. I recognize who I am, who I am, what I am, and why I'm here. And I just know I'm documenting and reporting. I'm providing, I'm showing, I'm sharing in a way that is what? Based on the principles of I know I'm a civil, the civil that I am. And all I know is I'm just gathering, collecting information and reporting it back. People have to deal with the shit they get. You get your own karma. You will get out what you will get back what you've been putting out. And all I know is what you've given me so far, oh, it's just some fucking bullshit. You're gonna get back. It's some fucking rotten shit. It's some rotten shit. You don't have to do that. Why? It's hurtful. And, that's what it leads you to. Like, who wants to do business with you? No one do business with black women. I'm sick of fucking doing business with black women and getting fucked over the way y'all do. So I'd rather, yeah, so I won't do business with your black ass. I'm not going to do business with a whole lot of other folks. So that just means the business that I want to get out of to take my time, and it's just going to take me a whole lot longer. I've learned some shit that I've learned from you all. Like I said, the women I've worked with, the black women I work with are, they're just like top line in their industry. They know their shit. They doing a good job. I see that. I'm learning. I'm learning business. Yet this I think it's more how much of it is just a matter of, when you go into school and you're learning a whole new industry, it takes you 4 years to get, at least that bachelor's degree, or 2 years to get an associate's degree. I've been at it a couple of years, and I've been putting out money the way you would put out money to pay for courses to learn shit. One thing I don't like about how the business is run, I pay for materials, yet I lose those materials when the semester ends, so to speak. I no longer have access to the materials. When I went to school and college, I got books. I got this shit. I got books and plenty of them. So I could go pick it up and refer back for what I paid for it. But with the way the world works now, we learn from other people who have gone to college and got degrees, and we pay them to learn from them business shit. Only, we get 6 months, we get a year contract at a certain amount of month. And in that month period, we get what the fuck they give us. And yeah, I guess you're supposed to read and review those materials during that 6-month period. Yet, that's why college is the way it is. Life is happening. So give me the fucking book. Now, when I'm finished the program after a year, after 6 months, I lose all my fucking materials I paid for. Now what I'm supposed to do? That's not how education shit works. You're supposed to be able to keep that shit. However, this is a new time and a new day and a new way of learning shit. And it's just what it is. And so it's like, I'm okay. I'll be okay with that. Cause what else I'm supposed to do? So that's all I have for tonight in this recovery room of Racism Not Anonymous. It's talking about my experiences, the level of anger, hurt, disappointment I feel right now. Are there any other points I wanted to touch on before I close out tonight's meeting? Let's see. I had a few things on the agenda. Yeah. And I just say, again, we talked about how white supremacist programming influences our relationships, our behaviors, and business. This business, that's what they always say, this business, nothing personal. It's not personal, it's business. And business is what? Giving you the quote unquote business. When I went to Africa, they kind of use that terminology of doing their quote unquote business. And when a person is doing their business, you close the door. Your business is private. Your business is your shit. And you close the door when you are expelling and doing your business, handling your business, when you have to go to the bathroom and take a shit. And that's when I recognized business. That was a little while ago. My nephew got into business and he was working to give me the business. They trying to sell you something. When somebody giving you the business, they trying to sell you something, right? So I'm learning more, about the whole business world and seeing how it works. And yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. I suppose that's why I never really was propelled to go into the business arena when I had the opportunity some 30 years ago. my objective was not quote unquote business in that way. It was more personal. However, the business industry is business, not personal. So we don't not take into account personal stuff. It's just business. And business, and business is the business. It's been a bunch of shit for Black people in America, for me in America, me growing up in America, and the America I grew up in. Business is always full of shit. And that's all I've got to say about that. So thanks for listening to me share. Please leave a comment, a question, and share what experiences you are having with Black women. Takes work. I practice off of a FFF, the 3 Fs. Fuck them, fix them, fuck them, forgive them, fix them. Fuck family first, because they're the first ones gonna fuck over you. So it's always our family members, whether it's the Black family, fuck family, they're gonna fuck over you first. And then you have to forgive family first and work to fix family first. So this is my way of, in part, working to fix, offer an opportunity for some quote unquote fixing. Can we talk? Can we have a conversation? That's where it starts. So join me next time here in the recovery room of racism non-anonymous. And thank you so much for listening to me share. Peace.